Hello, my name's Nicole Cristobal. For my project one, I did Vivienne Westwood. A little bit about Vivienne Westwood. She was a famous British fashion designer who was famously known for her influence on the punk rock scene, and she had a big influence on the new wave fashion movements with punk and rebel fashion. Born on April 8th, 1941, in England as Vivienne Isabel Swire, she ended up attending the Harrow School of Art, where she studied fashion design and silversmithing. And through her exploration and work in owning a fashion boutique with her husband, she began to grow in notoriety. She owns one fashion boutique, but it was rebranded a few times, but really started to grow fast when she named the brand Sex. And it was really famous for its punk rock fashion. She pushed the fashion punk movement and played a significant role in that became synonymous with the punk subculture on the 1970s. And she recently passed away in December 29th, 2022, yet her influence on the fashion world still lives on today. So, something that's really important to Vivienne Westwood and my project was the environmental statement. We push for a fashion industry that we can be proud of and proud to be a part of. We are committed to strong, holistic action in the interest of farmers, artisans, supply chain worker, brand employees, our customers, and our communities, and all life on Earth. I think this was important because Vivienne Westwood really prides herself and her brand on sustainable buying and resourcing. A lot of her campaigns also revolve around this as well, and even my own project has a take on this. So the fashion switch to green campaign encouraged the fashion community to join Vivienne in switching to a renewable energy supplier or to a renewable energy tariff. So posted to the Vivienne Westwood website, you can read a lot more about her sustainability actions and efforts, one of them being the Switch to Green campaign. She mentions, first step to save the environment, switch to green energy. We must rely on cooperation and collaboration to maximize our impact, and we must act now. What's good for the planet is good for the economy. This was really important because not only did she push her own brand to be sustainable, but it also influenced other designer brands as well. So, my customer profile that I tried to make regarding Vivienne Westwood, 67.2% of female online traffic is female, and they are typically between the ages of 18 to 24 years old and 25 to 35 years old. Their typical buyers are socially and environmentally conscious buyers. They can be quoted as a luxury brand, but more of a high-end brand because of their price point. They're typically in the USA, the UK, and the Asian market. And the buyers are typically appreciating punk fashion, style, and social awareness. So my inspiration one for one of the design spatial designs is the orb is a statement piece to Vivienne Westwood. Many of her products showcase the orb as a small ornament, either on a bag or wallet or even some shoes, or they can be the entire necklace is the orb. And with influencers on the rise, I thought it'd be an interesting idea to create a selfie zone within the orb. My inspiration too was while I was in South Korea, the bottom image, I saw this rotating bag display. I thought it was really interesting and really caught my eye. And it just kept rotating. And I thought it was a really nice way to display their bags in a very interesting way. So I thought it'd be interesting to incorporate the tilted heart, another signature piece of Vivienne Westwood, and it kind of having a rotating turntable to display products. My inspiration 3 was pearls and other hardwares are very prevalent in Vivienne Westwood's clothing and accessories. I thought that maybe I could create a spatial design pop-up store with the impression of pearls. While drawing my scale model and kind of finalizing my ideas, I wanted to kind of combine idea 1 and 2. So instead of a photo zone with the orb, I would be using it as a display case. So the centerpiece of version 1 and version 2 with the heart would be materialized with recycled aluminum. I think this would aid in pushing forward the mission statement of sustainability that Vivienne Westwood prides herself on. And I also think it would push forward conscious buying, and I think visually would look really appealing. So version 1, I was thinking to have very on brand the silver orb. Version 2, the one with the heart, I was thinking to maybe do a red recycled aluminum. And on the ring, it would be the rotating display panel where other items like maybe bags, wallets, and small accessories could be displayed and rotating. So when prototyping, it was really hard. I decided to kind of move forward with the original orb. I think it was really hard to make look nice, but I think the biggest challenge was the ring and the platform. I couldn't decide if I wanted it to hang from the ceiling and or the orb itself. I decided that it would be best to do it from the orb itself and have it rotating on a track this way. So with my physical model, this is what I wanted to showcase. I used the recycled aluminum as the orb, and then we also have really thin aluminum that would be connected to the orb. It would be kind of designed and decorated with these crystals, similar to the original orb and design pendants that she has. And on the rings, while attached to a track, it would rotate, displaying all these different items. I think this would be a really good showcase piece. Vivienne Westwood created a very big cult following, and this was even before her passing. A lot of influencers would share their experience shopping Vivienne Westwood or buying Vivienne Westwood, and I think having a display case or a display item like this would be a really strong point of content creators sharing, but then also feeling like this is a good way to purchase their items as well. So this is a video of how it would function in a store. It would just rotate slowly on the track, displaying a lot of different items. The main centerpiece would be stationary while the track or the ring would rotate. And although I think the recycled aluminum has a nice look, I think it would push forward the brand identity and sustainability that she has prided herself on. I think it'd be important to make sure that when creating this, I try to be as sustainable as possible and really use recycled materials to create this, yet still look high-end and keep the brand image. Thank you.
My project is about Sephora. Sephora Brand Research. Sephora was formed in 1969 in French by Dominique Commendano. It joined LVMH in 1997. Sephora has over 6,000 stores worldwide. Sephora offers a wide range of products, including cosmetics, skincare, fragrances, and etc., featuring both international and niche brands. Demographic. The majority of the consumer base is composed of women, 20.7% being male and 79.25% being female, primarily aged between 20 and 35 years old. Main competitor: Ulta Beauty, Macy's, Target Beauty, Sally Beauty. Company mission: advocating for all forms of beauties and creating a diverse and inclusive environment. Strategies: ability to curate product selection according to consumer demands. Offering discounted prices and numerous promotions to attract customers. Sephora distinguishes itself from other cosmetic retailers by providing additional self-service assistance options. Utilizing social listening to help business accurately assess the markets and make informed promotional and advertising decisions. By employing digital means of expressions and interactive experience, brands establish close connections with customers. Customers achieve self-identity through brands' interactions. Brands then use this information to understand user characteristics and create greater value through digital expressions and interactive experience. This is inspiration page. Precedents. The first picture is Sephora Playhouse in GN City Civil Plaza. The top center picture is Sephora in a San Jose mall. The bottom picture is Sephora store in Kuala Lumpur. And the last picture is Sephora in Times Square. On-site research. Every brand has its own dedicated display cabinet. Promotions and discounts are placed in prominent locations. Customers can see them at first glance. Concept sketch 1. Promoting products while providing consumers with the opportunity to try them out. Multiple squares with hollow centers, each square extending the direction of the previous shape by 60 degrees, resembling a rotating stairs. Concept sketch number 2. Placed at a store entrance, customers will walk past this fixture as they enter the store. Squares arrange horizontally in a pattern of left-right, left-right, allowing people to move between them, creating an interactive sensation. The shapes can shift horizontally as the mechanism operates. Concept sketch number 3. Window display in the store. Multiple squares strung together, with each square overlapping to some extent. Upon closer examination, it consists of myriad small shapes when viewed from a distance. It takes on the semblance of grand diamond shape, akin to a crystal chandelier. Mock-ups 1. The store fixture placed at the entrance of the store allows a consumer to know about new arrivals, featured products, or best sellers in the store. Additionally, consumers have the options to grab samples from the store fixture as they exit. I used squares to create the model, making 4 squares, stacking them together, achieving a hollow effect by rotating the squares' angles. The difficulty I encountered was how to join these squares together, as simply gluing them directly didn't look as aesthetically pleasing. My solution was to use foam core material, I cleaned one side of the foam core and removed the inner foam, leaving only a damp paper surface. This allowed me to connect the squares smoothly. Mock-up 2. This design is placed in the entrance corridor of the store, and as guests enter and exit, they will pass through this corridor. Guests may take photos here, which could attract others who want to visit as well. I used 4 rhombus to create the model, arranging them in a left-right manner, with each rhombus positioned behind the previous one, and the distance between the left and right sides of the rhombus getting closer towards the back. The challenge I faced was that the rhombus couldn't stand up properly. My solution was first to bring the rhombus close together so that they could support each other for balance. Second, I changed the angles of the rhombus, creating a gradual transitions from a nearly 70 degrees angles at the front to a 90 degrees angles at the back, forming a process where they gradually transform into rhombus from the front. Prototype analysis, brand personality, avant-garde, fashion, bold, customized look, color, black and white, font, medium pro, style, symbol. Differentiates a brand from the competition, providing customers with test symbols, unlimited browsing, sales assistance. And this is the first scale drawing with a top view, side view, and perspective. This is the second scale drawing with a side view, front view, and perspective. And this is the digital model. And I place Sephora symbols on top of the model. And this is model in space. I placed the model in one of the Sephora stores. Video montage. I used the pen tool to create a rectangle outline and then apply a clipping mask to insert the video within the defined rectangle. And this is the reference page. Thank you for watching.
Hello everyone, this is my presentation for the Midjourney Fine Jewelry brand and display fixture project for spatial experience design with Professor Wynn. My name is Ashley and I'll be walking you through my presentation and my final work. First off is the brand research and inquiry. Midjourney is a luxury brand that is originated in Toronto, and they only use high quality, responsibly sourced materials. It was founded in 2015. They have 1 store in England, 5 stores in Canada, and they have 12 stores here in the US. And one is on Spring Street in Soho, which I really like going to. Their brand mission is to redefine luxury and create everyday wear fine jewelry. They have high quality materials and craftsmanship, and they use sustainable production, and they have ethical resources. Their values are supporting communities, responsible sourcing, and charitable initiatives. So these images are from their website, and I thought it was just a very good representation of what they do. Their brand design style is elegant, clean, and minimal. They have sustainable design. They have cool tone colors, and they use mainly sans serif typography. Their demographic or audience target market are primarily females between 20 to 40 years old with disposable incomes, and they're very heavy on social media users. That's their main platform of advertising, and they tend to gravitate towards early adopters, trend savvy, and educated women. Key competitors are any jewelry store, but mainly Bubble Bar and Brilliant Earth. Their products are mainly fine jewelry, rings, necklaces, bracelets, anklets, but mainly rings and any jewelry you can think of. They have studs, they have dangling earrings and whatnot. They only use materials that are precious metals, such as 24K gold, silver, gemstones. They also have a affordable line, which is made with vermeil, which is a blend of precious metal and an alloy. Actually, no blend. I think the gold is just coating the main alloy. So this is my concept and inspiration. Upon checking the site research for Mejuri, they really focus on clean lines and neutral colors. They always try to bring in greenery or nature into their designs so it doesn't look so empty. They use a lot of earthy materials such as concrete, marble, steel frames, wood, texture, a lot of neutral colors. This is my mood board for inspiration. This is so pure, so delicate, which I think represents their brand as well. This is their packaging, very simple, just a logo and like a sustainably made cardboard box. I really like this black detailing and of course the gold. You cannot have a mood board of jewelry without gold unless I think. And here is my design concept. I went with a vending machine idea. It felt like the most straightforward but the most fun, and it felt like it could be incorporated in a lot of many things. So this is perfect for pop-up events, or even if they just wanted to amp up their marketing and merchandising. This will be perfect for high traffic areas such as airports, kiosks, or even outside their store for after hours you can still buy. This is the scale model and final sketch. This is the elevation sketch, a very straightforward rectangle shape with shelves and the venting panel. On this side, it will just be a very flat surface. And this is my isometric drawing in Illustrator. The design intention was to redefine the additional jewelry purchasing experience. I wanted this to be engaging, user-friendly, and visually captivating, I wanted it to look pretty, but also functional. So this is my prototype. I made it out of cardboard and Bristol pad sandwiched together. I used glue to make it sturdy. One thing I had problem with this was constructing the shelves. So underneath the shelves, I made some masking tapes and to just make it structurally sound. My approach was to bring Mejuri's brand values to life. So with Professor approving this concept, I went ahead and just integrated all of their visuals, their logo, the idea of how it could be displayed with the drop idea. This is for if you want to go to an event, and they have this out there. Prototyping. Like I said earlier, I used an acrylic sheet, a cardboard, and a thick cardstock, and I printed the front panel just so I can have more realistic. I cut this negative space with X-Acto knife, And this is the prototype, or like the sketch model that I came up with. This is a full view, as you saw earlier. Design development. So this was my final design. I made this photo backdrop taller. Not that it matters, but I just thought for scale and visual interest, it would add depth to my work. I added some fog greenery, but mainly this is my vending machine. A couple things when it's handmade. Some of the lines are wonky. I had trouble aligning these all together, and the finishing details are not quite as prominent as I would like to. But overall, I achieved what I wanted to do. I have the gold panel, I have the gold shelves, and the acrylic sheet, of course, for reflections to give it um, a believable appearance. So this is a prototype for the final. I know I could have used a better image, but this is all the documentation I had, and for the life of me, I cannot find where it is now. But anyway, the final physical model is this one, a gold rectangle box with black trim. I had so much fun creating this because it felt so realistic. One thing I would change probably was if I were given the option to have a laser cut, I would laser cut this as well so that it would just look more sophisticated and elegant. So the Professor Wang advised me to make it all gold and update the panel, which I think was really smart and clever. And I really like the final way. I wish I could have this done professionally, but here we are. I'm happy about this. This is it in an environmental setting. I photoshopped it here, and on my submission, I did the video montage of this panel moving. Professor suggested that I make one that would reflect here where the products are, but overall, she liked it, and I hope you all like it as well. This is my actual prototype, which I think still works pretty great, and it's perfectly blended in the outdoor storefront. So I'm really happy about that. So just quickly, I just wanted to see where we came from and how it ended. I'm very pleased with the physicality of this project, and if given another opportunity, I would definitely get laser cut.
So here is my video for Project 1. So here's my title that you've already seen. And then here's the brand research. Acne is obviously a high fashion brand. It's from Sweden. It was originally founded by that they started by making raw denim jeans, which I'm unsure if they even make anymore. But currently, the pink branding, the Nordique font, and this face logo are kind of iconic. I don't know. They're basically like the main branding I think of when I think of Acne. The target demographic is people my age, 25 to 35. Young people have more of a disposable income than older people typically. So here's some in-store photos. I took inspiration. I kind of got the idea from looking at some of these. This photo here, second on the top, second from the left, kind of like Brutalist Cement, looks kind of like a club called Basement in Brooklyn. disco balls are in nightclubs. I also kind of got that vibe from these silver kind of chromed store rooms in the stores here. Um, and I also took inspiration because of this bench here that's pink against the chrome kind of walls here. Some more inspiration. We have like the pink, Acne logos, face logos, this kind of baby rose gold pink here, and then the chrome purse and shirt. So these kind of made me think of, mirror tiles, disco ball, and then I was able to find the tiles in a pink as well, and then I thought it was a great idea. Here in the top left, the hanging display kind of made me think of a disco ball, and then there's also a mirror on the tables here, so I thought it all kind of worked really well. Here's the initial sketches. I did them on paper first, and then I moved to Illustrator to do it digitally. The construction here was done with foam core, like you suggested when we had our meeting. I ended up doing 2 layers of foam core just to make it stable enough, and also to have enough space for the tiles that are above, like just basically around the hole that goes through the center where you can actually place, perfume and what have you. So here's the completed physical model where you can see the 2 layers of foam core that I used. It made it way more stable using just doubling up on everything. Here's the first retail display. I kind of wanted to show that it could be used as a hanging disco ball, but also just kind of like placed as an actual standing display as well. So I have it 3 times here. One with the perfume. I'm pretty sure that was perfume again on the left, and then I just put this one on facing this way to show off the face on it as well. Here's the zoom in where you can see the perfume. I thought it looked great with having like pink perfume in the pink display. And then here's another retail display where I have it hanging. This is an actual Acne store where where they had hanging displays. So I just placed my display on top of those, and I thought it worked quite well. Also, I think it fits in really well with the pink that they use in their stores. And then here's a third one I did. I placed this one in here just because I wanted to have a display in the portfolio or in the project booklet where the display really pops. So everything being silver in this room, I chose this one. And then you can also see in this photo how like the mirror tiles really are mirror tiles. And you can see me snapping the photo of it. It was hard. I took a million photos trying to take them without being in the actual reflection of it. So here's the completed display. The mirror tiles are quite hard to work with, so you can see that not everything is perfectly even. My friend who's made a disco ball before said that lots of disco balls in real life look kind of a little bit uneven, but you never notice because they're up in the air. But I really like how the face turned out using the different colored tiles. I think it looks just like the logo. So I'm pretty happy with it. And I also like the shade of the rose gold mirror tiles. I think is spot on for Acne's branding. And then here's my video. I redid it like you suggested by making the background black and white so that the display pops more, and then also having the light also go on top of the disco ball so it's reflecting off of it. So yeah, here's my video redone, and that's the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, so for project 1, the brand that I worked with was called Omsom. And a little bit about what Omsom is. They are a company founded by 2 founders, Vanessa and Kim Pham, and they started this brand to bring proud, loud Asian flavors to the Western market of food flavors. And one of their their taglines is no more diluted dishes, no more cultural compromise. And this is because they want the brand to stand for the culture of bold Asian flavors, stories, and their community. And so, what some of the products that this company sells is that they sell starter packs of all the aromatics, sauces, and the seasonings that are needed to cook iconic, bold, flavored Asian dishes. And this is so that they can give authentic experience of cooking Asian dishes, um, without needing to find ingredients that are often hard to locate for people who want to make these dishes at home. And so the demographic is is Asian Americans and those who love to cook and eat Asian cuisine. And then throughout my research, there was some competitors such as Fly by Jing, who does Sichuan spices and sauces, Kabi, who does easy to use Japanese flavoring, and Homio, who uses sauce and spices that are inspired by Southeast Asian. And as you can see from the images on the top, that is their sauce packets, and then on the bottom is a pack of more than one. And so that's like a little bit about them. And in terms of their environment, Amsom doesn't have a physical store location, but rather they do wholesale and retail partnerships with multiple locations around the world. And their headquarters is located in New York City, but the product is sold across the whole country because they do partnerships with stores. Last year, they just launched nationwide at Whole Foods, and besides grocery retails, they also operate sales from their web shop, as you can see on the top image. That's the image of their shop on their site. And a little bit about their branding. So, as I said before, their brand takes focus on being bold and minimalistic to represent the flavors of Asian dishes. And so their color palettes draw on vibrant colors and personality, and it's really like a rowdy kind of feeling. So like in the middle image on the bottom, you see their color palettes. There's a lot of bright reds, yellows, pinks, purples, and along with that, their core values are the words that they used are fire, noise, and rowdy, because they want to strive to be an Asian brand that is not rooted in Orientalist stereotypes, but to be bold, dynamic, and outstanding. And you can really see these through their typefaces, the patterns, the color usage, and the 3 words that they use to describe themselves. So, an example of that they've done for their own dimensional graphics in their own events. There was an event where it's the Third Culture Joy Party series, and it was sponsored by Spam and Onsom. And what they had was they had a model of trolley carts, and what that does is it plays with the idea of like the Asian culture where our grandmas or mothers go shopping with the trolley carts, and there's a lot of the Asian snacks and products inside. So you can see in the images up top with the shopping cart with Asian shop items, you see like the shrimp trips, bananas, like Spam cans, and that's like an example of what they've done before. At this event, they also had their logo Amsom on this bottom right, where it is made out of neon lights on a background of smiley face takeout bags. One to represent the bold image that Amsom gives, and then the bags are like reminiscent of a lot of Chinese takeout places. You always see that thank you smiling bag. So that's another example, and then another one which is more on the idea of what their food flavor is. They partnered with Spam to make small bites that have the flavorings that they have, along with Spam and rice, so that the people can try the flavors of their brand. And then they also create their menu boards using their patterns, the branding patterns and type and color, and you can see how very bold that menu is and really catches the eye. So these are some precedents of dimensional graphics that Omsan has done on their own. So moving on into what I thought about what I wanted to do for Omsan for a dimensional graphic is I started off with the concept process, which was looking for inspiration in sketches, and I split my concepts into different sections. So this first section is titled Bold Flavors That Burn. And the idea is that since Amsan values are particularly inspired by heat and fire, I wanted to represent that idea and show that the Amsan flavors are bold and delicious. And I was looking at examples of the packaging for Amsan's products, and there is this image on the left. It shows a flame, one section of a flame, but pieced together. So that it's the one where it says chili sesame seeds, and that's focuses on the shape of the connecting flames for the text background. So I was thinking of using that as a base, and then having Amsan's brand name on top, which is this concept sketch on the top, where it will it will represent their brand. And then the other concept sketch is based off on a matchbox design, because they talked a lot about fire and bold and noisy in their branding, and I think of a matchbox as being really fiery, really bold, because once you hit that spark, there's that one big bold spark, and then the matchbox lights up. So the idea that I had was having sort of a giant, not a giant, but like a medium-sized human-sized matchbox, and the matches will, instead of the part that you light up, it would be attached to their flavor packets, and that would be and that would be a way to represent that, oh, their flavors are really bold, and their flavors that pop, and they're really it's like an explosion of flavor. And so that was the second idea that I have. Moving on to my concept, the second concept, which is flamin' noodles. The process of the second concept is to market the noodle brand line that they have. So going along with the concepts of fire, I was thinking of doing a fire-based frame based off of the inspiration image on the right, and then looking at the first concept sketches where you have the flames, and they are layered on top together, so you can show the different layers of flames and colors. And then there is shelving along the inside, where the products would then be placed there, and you can see all the products that Amazon has. And another concept regarding the noodles part of this is that their noodle brands are very new, and I think it was a good idea. I think it would be a good idea to market this noodle brand. So an idea concept that I had was like a standee that has Amazon's logo, and there is a 3D physical mock-up of the noodles, and they kind of like the flying noodles that you see, where the noodles hold themselves up, and then maybe the packets on top, so showing that the flavor packets is going into the noodles, and that's the flavor of the noodles. So that was another concept. And then my third one is more thinking about burning flames, and which I kind of ran with for this project. So sticking with the idea of fire, many of their text packagings have effective protruding flames. So my concept was that the company logo is on fire and will be resting above shelving units for the product to sit in, so that I can both represent the brand and their bold imagery, but also represent their products as well. So that's this first sketch up top. And another idea was again with the matchbox, but having the outside of the box be a quilt of all the packagings of Omsam products to promote all the different products that Omsam has, and then the top matchbox. Again, with the same idea of the first few sketches, where the product is attached to the matchstick, and that's representative of it's the bold popping flavor that will explode once you cook it. So these are my concept sketches. So, like I said before, I went with the burning flames concept, and these are some sketch models that I did. So this first sketch model is it's kind of simple. It's just a normal standee stand, but then on top of the stand they have their brand logo along with the flames behind it, so that it looks like their logo is protruding flames. And what happened with this model is that the difficulties that this design may run into is how the sign flame logo would be placed on top, and what kind of materials to use that is solid but would still be able to give the impression of moving hot flames, because I wanted the flames to have that effect of being bold, being noisy, moving, and just representing the passion that they have. And so this is sketch model 1. Sketch model 2 is a little bit different, but the concept is the same, where you have their logo and then the flaming brands on top of a shorter shelving unit. And the difficulties this design may be is that the product placements may be too low, because the users, if you're thinking about standing height, it would probably be lower than where their hips are, so they wouldn't be able to interact with the products as much, but more on the logo itself. So that's sketch model 2. Sketch model 3 is this is plays both on creating a signage system, that the same thing that helps recognize the brand, but also being able to interact with products on the shelf. So this one has more of a higher shelving units, and the logo is placed higher. And the representation of flames in this design is a more free-form flowing system, where the flames can be translucent and perhaps have movement. The difficulty this design may run into is what kind of materials are able to give the effects of the translucent moving frames, and also being able to stand because in my model I wasn't sure, I couldn't get it to stand up, so that's a difficulty I was having. So in terms of my prototype analysis, I was looking at brand personality and customized looks. So looking at how their brand focuses on bold and maximalistic styles to represent the flavors of Asian dishes, and looking also at the color palette that draws on a lot of vibrant colors, especially the yellows, orange, and reds. And that's the core values of when you think of fire, noisy and rowdy, and should be represented in design. And I decided to take these customized looks into mainly their logo, and you can see the two mock-up logos that I've done. So that's my analysis of the prototypes. And these are some of my scale drawings to see the heights of the shelvings, and as well as thinking about how the issue I said before about how to get the stand to stand just like stay up. I did some sketches on that. And this is my final physical model. As you can see, it changed a little bit, and I will explain a little bit more why I changed it. So during my final mock-up making process, I couldn't get it to stand up, so I was thinking about how to get a backing for it, and I thought it was a good idea to put a backing instead of an open shelving unit. One, because it's more stable, and two, because when I thought about representing the brand, I also thought about their usage of their patterns and the waves of the flame patterns, and I wanted a way to represent that. So having a flat panel means I could have a lot more surface area to put those patterns, which is why I went with this design that you see in my final process model. So the next steps sort of explain the same thing as well here, where this was the pattern that I was talking about in the middle, and that could be put on the surface of the panel. Also, when I thought a little bit more about the flames and the logo, I thought about how they represented their logo by using neon lights, and I thought that would be a good way to have a transparent level of design for the flames, but also being able to represent that core value of being fire and bold without it being without the signage being too heavy or really structured. So that's what I did with my final model. So this is my final digitized models. As you can see, I have the product images, and then also underneath that is the signage part of this piece. So you can see the neon lights of their brand with the yellows and the orange of their color palettes, and how bright it is and bold and how it stands out. And you can see it against the shelving units and backing. And what I did was I put their textured pattern on the backing so that it the standee really stands out and is bold and really calls out to you. That way the products can also be very intriguing to people who might pass by this and say, oh, this is really bold, and look at this and say, this brand is representing very bold flavors in their products. So that's the digitalized model. And here I have a mock-up and the video montage as well. For the mock-up, it is in display in the Pearl River Market store located in Chelsea Market, which is where a lot of people get a lot of the Asian products that they would have trouble finding outside of a specific store. So that's where the mock-up is. And then I have a little video montage of the product display to end this presentation. So let's take a look at this. So you can see the neon lights are flashing. It's bringing out the branding of the flames and also Amsal's label. And that was what I hoped to bring to mind with Amsal's branding when people are looking at this structure, at this picture for promoting their product. So this is what I came up with for my.
The brand I chose to do a display about is the Levi's store. So first, let's get into their demographics, their ethics, and their mission. The demographics of Levi's is almost split in half, with 42% of their consumers being male and 57% being female. Also, the largest age group of their consumers is 25 to 34-year-olds. And I tried to keep that in mind when creating my signage because those younger generations are so committed to sustainable living and are much more interested in it than past generations have been. So Levi's brands and ethics is committed to making better choices and better clothes because their belief is that when they make it better, the consumers can buy it better. And when you buy a better product, you can wear it longer and reduce your waste. In 2021, they launched a Buy Better, Wear Longer campaign, kind of with that mantra that really encouraged conscious purchasing decisions. They also really encouraged that people buy secondhand and vintage and tailor and rework their jeans, and we'll get into how they promote that in just a little bit. Their most iconic products are obviously jeans. They are one of the most culturally significant denim brands that the US has. They're very known in pop culture, and they kind of have this iconness to them. So most of Levi's signage, especially in their interiors, is red and white. I wanted to kind of honor that in my model, but make it fresh and have this sustainability feeling to it. Levi's history, a basic rundown of it, is that Levi's were created by a man named Levi Strauss in 1853. He was around in San Francisco at the height of the California Gold Rush, which kind of inspired him to make these denim waist overalls that protected these miners and could really hold up to the tough environments that they were in. What started as an invention for the American worker became the uniform of progress, worn by miners, cowboys, rebels, rock stars, presidents, and everyday men and women. These functional pieces were clothes that not only did people work in, but they now live in them too. Some of Levi's previous dimensional graphics really inspired me, especially their more in-store ones. Such as Levi's previously had a pop-up that prioritized altering, customizing, and repairing already purchased Levi's denim as a push for more conscious consuming and sustainable practices. At these pop-ups, you could have your jeans tailored, altered, or even embroidered to really create that self-expression that you want out of your jeans. In my concept, I wanted to incorporate that sustainability that Levi seems to be so committed to. I was inspired by their previous pop-up, but I wanted my display to have all recycled or biodegradable materials in use. I didn't want any of the materials to be new, made of plastic, or unethically sourced. So Levi's brand image is very traditional. It's very clean. It's basically just blue jeans and red and white and just has this youth and culture to the brand. In my concept mood board, you can see that I wanted to bring that fun youthfulness to the display by kind of putting denim in places that maybe it shouldn't be, or bringing these colorful plastics in to kind of elevate the traditional Levi's signage. In my scale drawings, you can also see that as I have clippings of vintage Levi's tags and past Levi's brands within the signage to really remind people who is the leader in sustainability when it comes to these brands. Within the signage and these tags will also be pieces of discarded single-use plastic that is sewn over into an almost mosaic-looking background. In my first version, you can see that I had recycled denim hangings off the top of the display and just the Levi's sign itself. I did not have anything else except for, of course, the shelves that were created using repurposed wood. The core of the signage is made of heavy-duty chipboard, which is biodegradable, and of course the signage itself is old Levi's tags and recycled single-use plastic. These displays will hold reworked Levi's jeans as well as dead stock vintage Levi's. So I wanted to really incorporate this idea of sustainability, that not only is the display itself sustainably sourced and created, but also the things being sold on the shelf are not creating new waste. In the second version, I really wanted the sustainability to come out, so I have a display on, and this is the second and final version, but I have a display where a video will be projected explaining how our consumerism of clothing contributes to waste and overall unsustainable living habits. As well as that, I made a smaller display to go into the window part of a Levi's store so that passerbys can see what Levi's main focus is, as well as their brand ethics, and also educating the passersby that might then want to go into the store. You can see that in my first mock-up, I have the display in a store environment, and that's how it would look with the projection at the top, explaining how wasteful hyperconsumption of clothing can be. And then in the second mock-up, I have how the signage would be incorporated into a window display. And that is all I have. Thank you so much.